Oh, hello YouTube. Today in the Naughty Librarian, I am bringing you a new release book haul. I have been getting a lot of really cool new books lately, like they all just came out, and I'm just excited to tell you guys about some new stuff, just in case you haven't heard about it yet. And yeah, that's it. I don't really have a lot of preamble for this video. It's all just new books I got that I'm excited about. Let's go. I'll start this thing off with a few new romances I picked up lately. First of which is A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. I am so excited for this one. This one is a historical romance that features a trans woman heroine. Obsessed. Viola, right? She was in the Battle of Waterloo and presumed dead, and this was an opportunity for Viola to let her old self die and become the woman that she is. So she does this, and there are consequences for her actions because, you know, she had to like give up her whole life and, you know, her wealth, all of that, her status, as well as her best friend Justin, who's the Duke of Greenwood. And Justin did not take his best friend's death well. He's been kind of spiraling, etc. A few years have gone by at this point, and Viola is now making the rounds again as part of the same family. And they kind of meet, and I don't know if he's gonna realize right away that Viola is like his former best friend, but maybe. I don't know. It's definitely a friends to lovers romance, but like with a twist of like, hey, guess what? I'm not actually dead. Like, it's quite the twist, isn't it? But I'm very excited for this one. I think it's gonna be super sweet and super fun. I don't know how spicy it's gonna be because I've read one other Alexis Hall book and it wasn't that spicy, so that's fine. I'm not reading this necessarily to be a perv, but like I think the concept is so cool and I'm very excited to read it. I also got a copy of A Caribbean Heiress in Paris by Adriana Herrera. This is also historical romance, and it's really, really cool because they feature a Dominican lead heroine who is kind of the heiress to like a rum empire, and she goes to Paris. She's trying to sell her rum there. She comes with 300 casks of it, her two best friends, and a rule not to fall in love. And of course, things are gonna go awry from there. But she's trying to sell like this rum and, you know, further the expansion of her, you know, inheritance here. However, problem is most people in this era in Europe don't want to do business with a woman, let alone a woman of color. So she's having some problems. Now enter James, right? He is the Earl of Danwick, and he has a whiskey empire that he's built. And he's like, oh, this is my only passion, but like, wait, Luz is super cool and she's got rum. I'm gonna help her. And she's like, why are you helping me? And he's just like, well, like, you're cool. I didn't say that. You misheard me. And like things go from there. So it's like kind of a grumpy Scottish guy, a firecracker, Dominican heiress, and it's gonna be fun. There's definitely like whiskey and rum in it, two empires coming together. I think it's gonna be super cool. I'm very excited for it. It just sounds like an amazing fun time. I actually won a Goodreads giveaway. I know, no one wins those, but I actually won one for once, and I got a copy of Something in the Air by Suzanne Enoch. Now, Suzanne Enoch has been around for a while, but she's a new author for me. I just read like this Highlander series that I was obsessed with, so I definitely want to read more, and I won an arc of this. This comes out in September 2022, so just right around the corner, but it sounds so cool. So this is Emmeline and William, right? Emmeline and William, they had an arranged marriage, and they just kind of leave each other alone. It's been there like this for 8 years, right? They've been together. And she thinks it's going super well. Like, yeah, we're married, but we never have to deal with each other. It's great. But her grandfather, right? He's a duke, and he invites them over to his house for his like birthday celebration. I'm assuming there's like an inheritance thing going on here. And he's like, I want you to come. Bring your children with you, because apparently she had invented 2 children that they don't have. So enter these 2 little orphan kids who are the most unruly orphans England has ever produced. They have to rope them into this like, it's not like a fake dating situation, it's like a fake children situation. And I'm like into it. I think it's gonna be so fun. There's gonna be like hijinks and capers and like, I don't know. I think they're finally just gonna be in a real marriage, and I'm very excited to see that. So yes, very excited for this one. I'm so happy I won the arc of it. Next category is horror, and I got 2 new ones. I got a copy of Hide by Kirsten White, and I am so excited to read this. Kirsten White has written a lot of books as YA. I have enjoyed almost all of them. And so I do want to see what Kirsten White's going to do with her first adult book. And this one sounds super cool. I'm not sure if it's paranormal horror or like slasher horror. Not 100% sure yet, but I will be reading it soon. So basically, here's the gist. Like, there's this amusement park that's old, abandoned, creepy, right? And there's a challenge. You have to spend a week in there without getting caught. And if you do, you win like a bunch of money. So a bunch of people sign up for this, right? And then Mac, our main character, she's really good at hiding. She's like, I got this in the bag. Turns out, nothing is as it seems, because a lot of people start dying in this amusement park. Something is getting them. And so they might, all the rest of the contestants might need to like come together, team up to fend off whatever's picking them off one by one. And again, I love that. I love the vibes. I love a horror book. I do love horror books. I don't read enough of them, but every time I do read one, I have such a good time with it. So yes, very excited. I'm not sure if it's horror or slasher yet, but either way, I'm happy. I also got a copy of The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. And oh man, I'm so excited to read this, but I have to wait because this is actually going to be the Blades on Bodice Rippers book club pick for October. We always do a Halloween show. It's going to be this one. Very excited about it. So this one is like, I don't know, like the blurb says, it's Mexican Gothic meets Rebecca. So I was like, okay, loved Mexican Gothic, did not like Rebecca. I don't know how I feel about that, but I get it. It's very much like a Gothic horror story. So we're following Beatrice, right? And she is a young woman searching for security, I would say. This is during the overthrow of the Mexican government. And during that overthrow, her father was captured and killed. So she's like lost everything. And then this like enigmatic rich guy, Rodolfo, he's like, hey, want to get married? And she's like, yep. I'm going to go live in your house. It's a pretty house in the countryside. It's going to be my refuge. I will have my own fancy house again. So I don't know. Maybe it's like, it should give me a little bit of like Scarlett O'Hara vibes, maybe. I don't know. This is the kind of determined attitude. But here's the problem. She gets to the hacienda, his big house, and there is something seriously wrong going on here because like the dude splits immediately. He's like, I gotta go work in the Capitol, bye. And she's like, okay. And then there's all this creepy shit that just keeps happening in the house. Like the servants are like burning copious amounts of incense. They're making weird markings on doorways and stuff. There's something haunting the house. She doesn't know what it is. Basically, she knows there's something wrong here and no one is helping her. Except for this one like priest guy who said he's gonna help her. However, priest with a secret, he's actually a witch. And he's like, I gotta fight off these haunting things that are like attacking this house. So it's like witchcraft, hauntings, maybe demons. I don't know, but I'm so into this. It's Gothic horror. Love it. I'm very excited to read this. We'll read it in October. It's just so long from now. Last category is like fairy tale adjacent stories, and I have two of them. First up, I have Darling Girl by Liz Michalski. And this one is like a Peter Pan remix. So in this one, we're following Holly Darling, who is Wendy's granddaughter. Yes, the Wendy from Peter Pan. And she's doing great. She is a mother of two. She is running a successful like skincare company. She's good. She also knows that Peter Pan is real and not a nice guy. He's not as like heroic as all of the fairy tales have made him out to be. So one day she gets a call that her daughter Eden, who's been in a coma for 10 years at this like estate she's kept her in, has disappeared. And she's like, I know Peter did it. And she doesn't really have anywhere she can turn to for help because her mother doesn't believe that Peter's not a hero, even though, like, I guess Holly has her reasons for believing this. And also, she has to go get her daughter back because she plays some role in her son's life and the son doesn't know that he has a sister. And I'm like, oh, this is a mess. Like, juicy mess, and I'm excited for it. So anyway, Holly, she enlists as like farmer soldier Christopher Cook. She's like, hey, you gotta help me get my daughter back. And he's like, cool. So they're gonna go off and like get the daughter back from Peter Pan. And like, it's a Peter Pan retelling, so it's gonna have all of that kind of stuff in it. But it's also like a modern day version that kind of explores like the dark side of that fairy tale. So I'm way into this. I think it's going to be so cool. It feels summery to me, so I'm going to try to read it this summer. But yeah, I'm like into it. I think it's a cool idea. I also got a copy of The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. And This one is giving me Aladdin vibes, and I'm like so into it. I think it's like loosely Aladdin inspired. So we're following Luli, right? She is she's the midnight merchant, basically. She sells like illegal magics. And one day she saves the life of this cowardly prince, and then his father, the Sultan, gets wind of her, and she's like, oh shit, I didn't want attention. And the Sultan, not a nice guy, he basically blackmails her into going to search for this lamp that will save like the barren countryside. So basically, she's like Aladdin looking for this lamp, right? So Luli has to set off on this adventure to find this lamp, and she's accompanied by her bodyguard, who's like a djinn. Mind you, this lamp is supposed to kill all the djinn, so there's like a conflict of interest here. And also the Sultan's oldest son, who's one of the 40 thieves. So like there's like ghoul attacks, there's djinn queens, there's like magic and like all kinds of stuff going on here, and I'm way into it. Loosely Aladdin inspired. I think it's gonna be so cool. I've heard like nothing but great reviews for this too, so I'm very excited I got it and I can read it. Alright, so those are just like a bunch of brand new releases I picked up recently. I am very excited to read them all. I think there's some really good stuff in here, so hopefully if you guys didn't know about any of these books, now you do, and I'm sorry to your TBR list for making it even longer. Let me know in the comments down below, what's a book that came out recently that you're super hyped about? Let me know what it is in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe, and if you'd like to be a member or a patron, the links are in the description down below. There's lots of cool exclusive content and a book club involved in that. And on that note, I will see you guys soon. Bye!